Yeah, it's funny. We had a whole show on Monday, and we really only talked about the Penn State game, the season being over. Since then, holy crap, has there been a lot. So first off, we got three staff firings, and I think a lot of Rutgers Nation might rejoice in this. First off, Robb Smith, defensive coordinator, no longer with us. We had a Big Ten worst 209.9. You can round that up to 210 rushing yards per game. And we also allowed 31.8 points per game under his quote unquote leadership. He should have never been back. And it's quite evident that that didn't work. And the whole co-defensive coordinators thing didn't work. Two more people got fired, but your initial thoughts on Robb Smith being done?
I got a few thoughts on that. Number one, look, the defense was not good this year. At times, they played well, but generally, they did not perform well consistently throughout the year. And the question is firing Robb Smith going to have a big impact in terms of the defense getting better? And the answer to that is I'm not so sure, because I think there's multiple factors that went into that defense playing the way it did. Number one, I don't think, you had a lot of people from the transfer portal. I'm not sure that there was ever any chemistry there. Number two, I don't know if the talent was there. So I think there were factors other than just Robb Smith. Now, having said that, the coaches do bear responsibility because, there were times all year where wide receivers were running wide open. Look at the Oregon game. Look at across the board, the defense could not stop anybody. So I think it's a combination of factors. But my question is not whether, it's good that we fired him. My question is, who are we going to get to replace him that is going to be a good coach and that is going to improve this defense? And I'm not sure what the answer to that is yet.
Yeah, he wasn't the priority when we got him, but we gave him a second chance in Piscataway. Looked worse than the first chance given the personnel and expectations. Next up, his co-defensive coordinator and also the linebackers coach, both are his titles. Zach Sparber is gone. And his main protege, Jabome, I'll get into it later, but he did get awarded an all-defensive honorable award with an all-Big Ten team. So, the linebackers weren't the problem on defense. They didn't necessarily look standout either. The defensive line and secondary, to me, they were inconsistent all year, but the linebackers were consistently just a little below average to me. So I understand the move, and also he is co-defensive coordinator, so the entire defensive unit does come back to him along with Robb Smith, but he does bear responsibility too.
Well, yeah, and look, like I said, it's easy to blame the coaches when the players don't play well, and certainly the coaches deserve some share of the blame. But I do think there were other issues with the defense, such as the talent level, execution, and chemistry. And again, I think it begs the question of, okay, well, who's going to replace Robb Smith and the co-defensive coordinator that's going to have a material impact to improve that defense? I also think there's one other thing at play here. I think this is potentially a message to Schiano, because midway through the season, Schiano essentially said he was taking over the defense. So it seems to me that if you're going to blame the coaches, well, the person who said he was taking over for the defense midway through the season was the head coach, Greg Schiano. So my point being, I think you can deduce what I'm talking about. And I think this is kind of a message to Coach Schiano that, okay, for now, we're firing the DC. But if next year's not an improvement, I think they may go higher and look for a new head coach.
I was just going to say that. Schiano is so polarizing, right? You either love the guy or you don't love the guy, for putting it in a better terminology, nicer terminology at least. I've seen Scarlet Knight fans fire him immediately. I've seen Scarlet Knight fans say extend him. He's the best coach we'll possibly get if we do fire him. Well, this is a message, and it reflects on what Kelly Zinn has said, that you judge a team by their wins and losses. 5-7 is not a good look in the Big Ten. And all of Schiano's staff on defense has basically gone because Collin Ferrell, defensive line.
Hey, Gabe, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
there's an issue with your sound.
Is there?
Yeah, it's echoing and just breaking up a little bit.
Let me see. Is this better? Maybe if I bring it closer.
It's perfect now. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So his third guy that got fired is Collin Ferrell, defensive line coordinator or defensive line coach, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that front four had 6 sacks all season. When I say front four, I'm talking Jordan Walker, Bradley Weaver, who, by the way, bad news about Jordan Walker. We'll get into that. Jordan Thompson and Eric O'Neill, 6 sacks all year between them 4. And Eric O'Neill on his own in, a weaker conference, but it was still on his own. Last year had 13.5 sacks. That's more than double on his own. As a unit, they only had 6 sacks all year. There was just no quarterback pressure. And when there was, it was just really late into the season. So I understand Collin Ferrell leaving. I am a little sad that it didn't work out because he seems like a very nice guy. He follows us on Instagram. I hope that his career turns around after a rough stint in Piscataway. But unfortunately, business is business. And when it comes to these defensive staffers leaving, I'm just thinking, you're right that it's not 100% their fault. But defensively, we hit a very bad pit last year. You could even argue it was rock bottom. So with these firings, I mean, we could bring in Mickey Mouse and it might not get worse. So
Well, who hired them?
Well, the guy who started play calling after he took away the responsibility from Robb Smith.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. It's like, you make a good point. Some people like Coach Schiano, some people don't. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Schiano. I love the guy personally. I think he's a great person. He's done some great things, but he hired these people. He said midway through the season, or at least indicated or suggested, that he was taking a more active role in coaching the defense. And then at the end of the season, the 3 coaches get fired. But Coach Schiano, it's like, what about you? I mean, what is your role in this from both a hiring perspective and from a coaching perspective? And I think what it boils down to is Kelly Zinn is not going to fire the head coach in her first, several months as athletic director. But I think it was a message coming from an athletic director that is accustomed to championships at LSU that more of the same will not be tolerated.
More of the same won't be tolerated. She's sending a message that she's not afraid to intervene when it comes to Schiano's staff. So when I said that he's polarizing, you either love him or I guess I'll say it. You either love him or hate him. I was talking about not his tenure, but the future for him at Rutgers. That's sort of what I was referencing.
You're right about that. You're right. That's very true.
It feels like everybody if you're a real Rutgers football fan, you respect the guy. No matter if you want him fired or want him extended for this life and reincarnated into the next one, you love the guy. At least for bringing us back into relevancy, you could say 1.5 times. I would say twice, but this season did feel like a regression.